Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hey everyone, I'm done with the steps. I first installed speech recognition, then recorded my file through the microphone, and then converted the audio file into .wav extension. So these are the steps I asked you to do. I hope you are done with the steps. Since you are all done with the steps, let us start with the program. So first of all, you need to import speech recognition that you have installed. So it is basically import speech underscore recognition as SR. You can use the name SR or you can just go with speech recognition. It's your wish. So first of all, I'll create a variable name audio file that I'll assign to my audio file. So my audio file is sample underscore simran.wav. Please note the fact speech recognition only recognizes .wav file. So you have to convert your audio file to .wav. Then it will basically use your audio file as the audio source. Use the audio file as the source. Then you have to initialize the recognizer sr.recognizer. It will basically initialize the recognizer. After that, what you have to do is with sr.audio file, because you are using audio file here. What name has been assigned to your audio file? Mine is audio underscore file. We will use it as source. What you have to do here is audio is equal to r.record source. So this function will basically read your audio file. Reads the audio file. So now what we have to do here is we have to write try print audio file contains r.recognize underscore Google audio. It will basically print the text that is there in your audio file. It will convert your spoken words to text. Except sr.unknown value error. You must be wondering what I am doing here. Here basically it will raise an exception sr.unknown value error in case it is not able to understand the audio. You will have to raise the exception here in case your Google speech recognition module is not able to understand your audio file. So I'll write here print Google speech recognition could not understand audio. You also have to write another exception, that is except sr.request error. This will occur if we are not able to get the results from Google speech recognition. So you write here, couldn't get the results from Google speech recognition. So I use the word here exception instead of error. Please note the fact that exception is a type of error. I repeat, exception is a type of error. So as you saw, we first use the audio file as a source, then we initialize the recognizer, and then we read the audio file. After that, the Google speech recognition will basically recognize your audio file and convert it into text, and in case it is not able to do that, it will raise two exceptions. It can raise two exceptions. First of all is if it is not able to understand the audio, and second one is if it is not able to get the results from Google speech recognition. So we are done with the program here. Let us try to run this program and check whether I'll be able to help Shubhada or not. Let us try to check that. Yes, we have the audio file here. Audio file contains that particular song, and let me check that. Yes, it is right. Isn't it amazing? We can just record our audio file and convert it into text. I'm very happy I can help Shubhada, and I think she can by heart the lyrics and improve on her dancing skills. I think so. So as you saw, speech recognition is a state-of-the-art technology that has been provided to us by Google through Python. So you can use this and convert your audio files to text. It is very easy through Python. So thank you. I hope this program will be very useful to you, and have a nice day. Happy learning.
Hey, you're eating something.
No, nothing. Something is there on your mouth.
Hey, is that chocolate?
You're hiding something.
Hey, you're eating chocolate.
Yeah,
Show.
you're eating chocolate, but this is almost over. Wait, I have one chocolate. I will give you guys. Would you guys please share that?
No.
I want one chocolate.
I want.
share with
Please,
you.
please, please.
Hey, I'll
Last
not
time
share
also you
with-
took. Last time also you
No,
took.
I want
I
one
want.
chocolate. I'll not share.
Please share,
I
guys.
will
No,
not share.
I'll
I will
not
not share.
share.
Please.
Wait. See, I have an idea. Let us play a game. Okay. If you are lucky, if you win the game, you will get the chocolate. Are you okay for this deal?
Okay, I'll play the game. Anyways, I'll win.
Ah,
I'll
we'll
not
see.
share with
Ah,
you.
we will see.
We'll see.
Let's play the game. Yeah. Let's see.
So as I have said, I have hidden my chocolate in one of these three bags. You're supposed to guess where would I have hidden. What would you like to choose?
I'll choose this bag.
This is your choice among the three bags. Let me make your life simpler. I'll open this bag. This is empty. So the chocolate must be present in one of these two bags. Would you like to retain your choice, or you would like to swap?
No, you are just tricking me. This is my final choice.
This
I'll
is
stay
your
with this. Yes.
This is your final choice. Then I'll close this. Okay, now your turn is over. I'll call Shubhada. After her turn, I'll announce the results. Shubhada, come. As I have said, I have one chocolate that I have hidden in one of these three bags. You are supposed to guess which bag I would have hidden. So, which one would you like to choose?
Out of three, I have to choose one. Yeah. I'll choose this bag.
This is your choice among 3.
Yes.
Let me make your life simpler. I'll open this bag. This is empty. So the chocolate must be present in one of these 2 bags. Would you still like to retain this choice of yours, or you would like to swap?
Oh, this seems to be an interesting strategy. Let me think. I think I'll swap. This will be my final choice.
Okay, Shubhra, your turn is over. You had chosen that bag as your final choice.
Yes.
I'll close this and I'll call Amit and we'll see the results.
Okay.
Amit, come.
Okay.
So, you had chosen this bag to be your final choice. This contains. This is empty.
Oh God.
And Shubhra, you had actually made a swap when I gave you a chance.
Yes.
You initially chose this and you chose this. Let me open simultaneously. This is your final choice, so let us zoom into this. This contains the chocolate and you win the chocolate. This is yours.
Thank you. I won.
Hey, can you please give me?
No. We had decided that whoever wins. No, I'll not share. I won this. No.
1/4.
No, I'll not share.
Okay, so we saw that the mother is playing a trick on the kid. She is trying to force him to swap, force him to change the decision. The point is it really required? What exactly is happening here? I'm sure we all are confused, right? So let me do one thing. In the beginning of the video, beginning of this lesson, you saw 3 people playing a game, right? The chocolate game. And Vidya takes them and then she makes them play a game while she puts a chocolate inside a bag, and the point is to find out what is that bag which has a chocolate, okay? And Amit actually loses the game, correct? Let me now call Amit and ask him this question. Why exactly he lost the game? Was it out of sheer bad luck, or was it because his strategy was incorrect? Hi Amit.
Hello, sir.
I saw the game that you played. It was interesting. I'm just wondering if you understood the nitty-gritties of the game. The game is not as simple as it appeared to you, right? So what just happened in the game? Vidya tempted you people to play the game to win the chocolate, correct? She was smart. She said she opened up a new bag which did not have a chocolate and tempted you to change. You did not change, while Shubhda changed, right? You lost, Shubhda won. My question is, did Shubhda get lucky here and did you get unlucky? Or if you are given a second chance, should you swap or should you not swap? What do you have to say?
Sir, I don't think it matters, because in the end I have to choose 1 cup out of 3.
Yeah.
So why does it matter that I have to swap? My chances are same.
Looks like it, correct. Yeah.
Out of 3 I have to choose 1. So in the end I don't think it makes any difference. I don't know, I think it was just a luck.
So life is full of deceptions. We think this is not the right way to do, but that will be the right way to do. Sometimes we feel that this is the right way to do and we'll end up realizing that this is not the right way to do. Here is one such lesson of life where I'm going to show to you that swapping has a huge upper hand over not swapping. By that I mean, when Vidya tricks you, you should succumb to the trick, temptation of changing. If you decide to always change your mind, you have higher chances of winning the chocolate. Shall we see how? Sure. I have these 3 cups with me. 1, 2 and 3. Perfect. As an example, I don't have chocolates, I don't have jars, so we should adjust with this. I need something to, okay, all right, this will be the chocolate, right? I'm going to hide this somewhere. Okay. you are not going to say it. All right? This is the chocolate, 3 glasses. All right? Okay. Turn that side. You do not know where the chocolate is. Okay? There are 2 glasses where there is no chocolate, and there is a glass with a chocolate, let's say. Okay? So let me clear my table so that it's visible to you. Right, Amit? No chocolate? 1 chocolate here. Start.
So I have to choose.
2 glasses do not have any chocolate. 1 glass has a chocolate.
I'll choose middle one.
Middle one? It doesn't have a chocolate. See, you chose middle one. Touch the middle one. This was your choice, correct? You chose this. But then I'm going to show you that this doesn't have a chocolate, and I am now going to throw this away from the scene. Now you are left with 2 choices, this or this. If you want, you can change your mind. Change your mind and choose this, or don't change your mind and stick to this. What would you like to do?
I will not change my mind.
Okay. The point is the same, right? Yes. Changing mind or not changing the mind doesn't matter, right? You're not changing your mind, you lost.
It's luck, na?
It's luck, yeah. So what if this had, instead of this had it, you would have won.
Exactly.
Correct? Again, you got unlucky, right? So we will do one thing. Why don't we repeat this experiment, let's say some 50 times, as long as it's possible for us. You do one thing. You stick to only one strategy. You say, sir, I will not swap come what may. Use that strategy some 30 times. Okay? And then the next 30 games will be, you will always swap. Whenever I show you an empty jar like this, you will say, I'm sorry, whenever you show an empty jar like this, you will say, sir, I chose this, but I plan to swap. Change. 30 this way, 30 that way. Let's see how it goes. Alright, we'll make a note of how many times you win in the first strategy, and then see how many times Amit wins in the second strategy. And let us decide for ourselves which is the better method. Now we all have a feeling that it doesn't matter what strategy you choose. You win or lose with the same chance. The chances of winning or losing is the same. Or maybe not. We'll see this in detail with this experiment. Isn't this counterintuitive? We thought both seemed alike. You see, Amit told me that how does it matter? It looks like in both the cases I am choosing something. My chances of winning should not change. But our quick experiment that I did with Amit, I was making him turn that side and I was trying to play the game with him. He won more number of times in the second case where he was swapping, right? He was winning less in the first case where he was not swapping. See, if we play the game once, we can probably say, oh, I lost because of bad luck. We played the game many a times. If you observed, we have played the game 20 times each for this strategy and this strategy. Somehow the second strategy of swapping seemed to have an upper hand. Why? So now the question is, how do I even experiment and decide that one strategy is indeed better than the other? Computation to our rescue. Let's see.
So first of all, let me give you a brief introduction of what Monte Hall problem is all about. In Monte Hall problem, we have 3 doors. 2 of them comprise of goats and 1 of them comprises of a prize, say BMW. In this whole programming screencast, we'll be using BMW as the prize. So in Monte Hall problem, participant is asked to choose any one of these doors. After he or she has made his or her choice, the host asks the participant to change his choice. What the host basically does here is he opens a particular door out of these 3 doors. Okay, now we are left with only 2 doors, one that has been chosen by the participant and one that hasn't been opened yet. So now the host asks the participant to change his choice. It depends on the participant to swap or not to swap his or her choice. Now, what the participant should do here? Should he swap or not swap? This is the question that we should answer. Okay, so this is the question we'll be exploring, we'll be answering in this programming screencast. We'll have a kind of setup here in which we have 3 doors, 2 of them comprise of goats and 1 of them comprises of BMW. After the choice whether the participant has swapped or not swapped, we'll try to explore this fact that what is the optimal strategy here, whether the participant should swap or not swap. Let us try to explore this fact. So let us start with the programming screencast of Monte Hall. As I said, we need 3 doors here, so I'll be taking a list here named doors. Okay, so this is a list doors. I'll be taking another list here called goat door that will keep a track of the doors that comprise of goats. After that, I'll be taking 2 variables, swap and don't swap. This will take care of the fact of number of swap wins and number of don't swap wins. Swap will basically keep a track of number of swap wins. I'll just write here number of swap wins, and don't swap will keep a track of number of don't swap wins. Don't swap wins. Okay, now that we are done with it, we'll generate a random number here that will keep a track of what particular door will comprise of BMW. So since we are only given 3 doors here, we'll call them 0th door, 1st door and 2nd door. So we have to generate a random number here, random.randint from 0 to 2. Okay, so either any of these 3 doors will comprise of BMW. So I'll just write here X will comprise Xth door will comprise of BMW. Okay, now that we are done with it, after that I'll just write doors X will comprise of BMW. Yes, we're done with it now. Now the rest of the doors should comprise of codes. So I'll just do that here. For I in range, just write 0 to 3, since this will take into account the indices 0, 1 and 2. So if I here is equal to X, then you continue. Okay, continue. What does continue do here? What purpose does it serve here? If I write continue, then it will go to the start of the loop. Okay, if I write continue, it will go to the start of the loop. Since the xth door already comprises of BMW, we only need to take into account the doors except X. So if I is equal to X here, it will again go to the start of loop and increment I. Because we are not considering X here, we are only considering the doors that comprise of goats. Else what we are going to do here, else we'll just see doors of I, it will comprise of goat. So you just write goat here. One thing we have to do here, we have to append goat door also here. Goat door dot append and particular index, and that is I here. So we are done with the doors. Two of them comprise of goat and one of them comprises of BMW. After that we have to make the user input its choice. So let us do that. Choice is equal to int enter your choice. After that, int input. You just write int input, that will make the user input his or her choice. Now we have to, now that user has made his choice, now the host will ask the user about swap or not to swap, but before that he will open a door. So door open, we'll take a variable here, door open. I'll again generate it randomly here, so I'll write random dot choice goat door. Now please note this fact that we can only open the door that comprises of a goat. We can only open the door that comprises of a goat, so we are only considering goat door here. I hope that you are familiar with random dot choice. We have already explained it. So goat door is a list here from which a choice from which door will be taken randomly. So here we have to open a door that only comprises of goat. So I'll write here open a door that comprises of goat. Okay, now that we have opened the door, after that what we have to do here is we also need to take care of this fact in mind that the choice and the door open shouldn't be same here. For example, if the participant has made a choice of a door that comprises of a goat and we are also opening that particular door, please note the fact this is not allowed here. So we need to also take care of this fact that the choice and the door open shouldn't be same. So I'll just have a while loop here. While door open is equal to choice, I'll again and again choose it randomly from the list code door. So I'll just write door open is equal to random dot choice goat door. So you just need to write here. I'll just write a comment here. Door open shouldn't be equal to choice made by the participant. Okay, so we have also done that. After that, we have to give a choice to the user whether he or she wants to swap or not. So you just write swap int input. We don't need to write int here. You just write input. Do you want to swap? He or she will answer in Y or no, in Y or N. Okay, so done that. After that, you have to apply a if loop here. So just write if ch, if the choice made by the participant is yes, then it will be Y. Then what you have to do here is, if doors choice is equal to goat, that means he made a choice of a door that comprised of goat at initial stage, then he'll win here. Print player wins. Okay, and you have to increment the swap variable here. Else what you have to do is else print player lost. I'll again explain the if else loop here. What we are doing here is, if ch is equal to y, that means the player has chosen to swap. If he has chosen to swap, then we have to take care of this fact that if he has chosen goat in its initial state, in its initial choice, then if he swaps here, then obviously he'll get a BMW here, because already a door comprising of goat has been opened, and a door that has goat he has chosen in its initial stage, and now he is swapping. Now if he'll swap, then he'll get BMW. Okay, so he is winning through swap, so we'll increment the swap variable here. Else if he has chosen BMW at his first place and now he is swapping, obviously he is going to lose this game. So now we are done with if ch is equal to y, and if he doesn't choose to swap here, what we'll do here? If he doesn't choose to swap here, we'll write if doors choice is equal to goat. If his choice was goat initially, then and he doesn't choose to swap too, then he is bound to lose the game. So you just write print player lost. Done. Else if he didn't choose goat at his first place, then he will win because he has chosen BMW in his initial choice. You just write print player wins. Okay, and now he has won because he hasn't swapped, so you have to increment the don't swap variable here. So just increment don't swap is equal to don't swap plus 1. After that you have to print this number of swap and don't swap wins. So let us try to run this program. So just save it, montehall.py. Sorry. So let us try to run this program again. There is some error here. I'll just show you. It is saying random is not defined because we haven't imported the library random. So you just write import random. List index out of range. It is giving us an error, list index out of range. So how can we handle that? Let me think about it. We can easily handle that. I think we need to initialize the list here. You just initialize it with 0. Okay, since we are only using 3 doors here, multiply it with by 3. Also initialize this particular list here, that is code door. So you write 0 here and multiply it with by 2. So again run it. Name door is not defined. So it is basically doors, not door. Let me check if I have used it in some other place. No. So let us try to run it again. Enter your choice. So you have to enter your choice from of your door choice. So it can be 0, 1 or 2. So I'll enter 0. Do you want to swap? I'll choose to swap. So player wins. Okay. Now the player has won because he has swapped. Okay, again I'll run it. Enter your choice. I'll enter 2 here. Do you want to swap? No. Player wins also here. So again run. Enter your choice. I'll enter 2. Do you want to swap? Yes, I want to swap. The player lost because he or she swapped. Again run. 1. Do you want to swap? Yes. The player wins. Again enter your choice. 2. No. The player lost. So how can we keep a track of this? How can we find out that what is the optimal strategy here? I'm really confused. So what I will do here is I'll run this program again and again, for example 10 times, and then try to find out what are the number of swap wins and number of don't swap wins here. So for that I'll just take a variable here. So I'll just take a variable. For example, I took j is equal to 0, and I'll have a while loop here while j is less than say 10. I'll run it 10 times. For that you have to indent it properly. So indent it properly. So since we have to run it 10 times, I'll just use a while loop here. For that you have to indent it properly. Okay, so now this has to go here, this has to go here, this here. Now it has to be inside the while loop. After that the choice thing would also be inside the loop. So you just write choice here, this if loop was inside this if loop, so this is nested basically. This else is for the above if. Please indent it properly, I'll request you, otherwise you will get an error. After that, this else is for the above if. Okay, now that we are done with it, so let us try to run it. Enter your choice 0. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 2. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 1. Do you want to swap? No. 2. Swap? Yes. 1. Swap? Yes. So it is going on and on. I think we didn't increment the j variable here. Yes, you need to increment the j variable here, so just write j is equal to j plus 1 so that it runs for a definite number of times. Okay, so I'll just do that. Okay, we have exited. Now let us try to run it again so that we can get what is the optimal strategy here. Enter your choice 0. Do you want to swap? Yes. Player wins. Do you want to swap? No. Do you want enter your choice 2? Do you want to swap? Yes. 1. Do you want to swap? No. 0. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 2. Do you want to swap? No. Enter your choice 2. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 1. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 1. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 0. Do you want to swap? Yes. So here number of swap wins, as you can see, is 5 and number of don't swap wins is 1. So is swapping is the optimal strategy here? Do you really think so? Is swapping the optimal strategy here? Let us try to run this once again and try to find out what is the optimal strategy. So let us try to do that again here. 0. Do you want to swap? Yes. 1. No. 2. Do you want to swap? No. 1. No. 2. Yes. 0. Yes. 2. Yes. 1. No. 0. No. 1. Yes. So here also number of swap wins are greater than number of don't swap wins. So I'll run it once again so as to get a clear-cut idea of what is happening here. So enter your choice 0. Do you want to swap? Yes. Player lost. 1. Do you want to swap? Yes. 2. Do you want to swap? Yes. 1. Do you want to swap? Yes. 2. Do you want to swap? Yes. Enter your choice 1. Do you want to swap? Yes. 0. Do you want to swap? No. 2. No. 1. No. 0. No. So number of swap and number of don't swap wins are equal here. So we are getting different distribution, but in every case that we have run here, number of swap wins are either greater than number of don't swap wins or they are equal to number of don't swap wins. So we can say that we are not sure of this fact that we'll always win if we swap, but there is higher probability of you winning if you swap. Yes, this seems right from the program that we are doing here. Number of swap wins are always greater than equal to number of don't swap wins. So we can say that there is higher probability of you winning if you swap, and there is low probability of you winning if you don't swap. So now that we are done with the program, we'll just go through the program once again. So what we are doing here is, first of all, you have to make two lists. First one is doors and second one is goat door. We are taking only 3 doors here: 0th door, first door and second door, and we have 2 goat door here. 2 of them comprise of goats and 1 of them comprises of BMW. Next, what we are doing here is we are taking the track of number of swap wins and number of don't swap wins through these variables. After that, we'll have a while loop. Why we are using a while loop here? Because we need to keep a track of number of swap and number of don't swap win. Okay. So I am running this program 10 times. You can run it 50 times, 100 times and check what is the optimal strategy. According to me, it is number of swap wins. It is the swapping strategy, and it will work in your case too. Please check it. After that, I am taking a variable x here. This particular door, exit door, will comprise of BMW. Then we are using a for loop here, because the rest of the doors would comprise of goats. Except door comprises of BMW and rest of the doors comprise of goat. Now what we are doing here is we are using a new keyword here, continue. Why I am using here? Because exit door already comprises of BMW, and if I is equal to x here, then we have to continue. We have to bring the control of the program to the start of the loop, because we are not considering x here, we are considering rest of the doors here. And else, if I is not equal to x, then doors at I will comprise of goat. I also need to append in goat door list, because that is keeping a track of doors that comprise of goats. After that, you have to enter your choice. Okay, the choice the participant that chooses. After that, door open. Now the host will open one of the doors. Okay, please note this fact in mind: the open door and the choice shouldn't be equal. Okay, they shouldn't be equal. So we are using a while loop here. So door open is equal to random.choice goat door. Since we are already using a goat door list here, I'll just make a choice from the list goat door. Okay. After that, you have to make the user input whether he or she wants to swap or not. Okay, so you just ask the user, do you want to swap y or n? If ch is equal to y, then if ch is equal to y, that means he or she wants to swap, and he has made a choice of goat at first place. And if he has made a choice of goat at first place and now he's choosing to swap, then he's bound to win. Now he'll get a BMW. So in this particular case, the player wins and he has won because he has chosen to swap. So we'll increment number of swap wins, else he'll lose the game. After that, if he doesn't choose to swap and he has chosen goat in his initial choice, then he's bound to lose the game. Else, if he has chosen BMW and he is not interested to swap, that means he's going to win the game. In this particular case, number of don't swap wins will be incremented. Now, since we are using while j less than 10, we are using j variable here. We need to increment j here, so we incremented j here. After that, we are printing number of swap wins and number of don't swap wins. I hope you understood this particular program on Monty Hall, and this programming screencast was useful to you guys. Thank you. Happy learning.
Rock, paper, scissors. I win. Rock, paper, scissors.
I win.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock,
Hey guys,
paper, scissors.
what are you playing?
We're playing rock, paper, scissors, okay?
What is that? What's that?
There's a scissor. There's the paper. There's the rock. The rock cuts the scissor. The scissor cuts the paper. The paper covers the rock. The rock cuts the scissor. The scissor cuts the paper, and the paper covers the rock. Did you get it?
Can you explain?
You will not understand. Please let us play. Don't waste our time.
Disturb, okay? Please.
Rock, paper, scissors. Why are you cheating?
Why did I cheat?
You changed your sign just.
No,
You
okay,
showed
don't lie.
scissor, then you changed to paper.
No. You're simply telling
I don't
me.
want to play with you.
Hey Vidya, can I talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure.
My friends were playing rock paper scissors game. Now I understood. I googled it. One of my friends were cheating. I want to create a mechanism where no one can cheat. Is there any way to do that?
Well, I remember having studied something like that. Oh yeah, in NPTEL there is a course called Joy of Computing, in which actually the professor teaches a mechanism through which you can play rock paper scissors in which no one can cheat. Definitely you should take a look at it.
Oh yeah. Thanks Vidya. Definitely I'll take a look at it.
I was a 10-year-old kid when I used to play a whole lot of games with my dad. And dad would invariably win, be it arm wrestling or be it running. Dad was number one. Or even with the indoor games such as chess or tic-tac-toe, anything that involved logic, dad was way faster than me. There was absolutely no game where I could win over him. And that is when I came across this game called the rock, paper, scissors, where muscle power or logic had no role to play. It was a game which involved sheer luck. And I was a happy kid, and this game became the favorite. Let me now tell you the rules of this game called the rock, paper, scissors. There are 3 items here, as I told you, a rock, a paper, and a scissor. The point is, all these 3 items are equally powerful and at the same time equally powerless. Every single item is less powerful than some other item and more powerful than some other item. For instance, a paper is less powerful than a scissor because a scissor can cut through a paper, while a paper is more powerful than a rock because it can completely cover the rock. That's the story with the paper. Now, coming to the rock, a rock is more powerful than a scissor. As you see, a rock can smash the scissor. While a rock is less powerful than a paper, simply because a paper can cover the rock. Lastly, a scissor is more powerful than paper as it can cut the paper into pieces, but is less powerful than a rock as stated already. 2 people randomly choose an item and they choose one of the 3 items, rock, paper, or scissor. The moment they choose it, they declare it by showing the symbol. A closed fist denotes a rock, a palm for a paper, and a V symbol for scissors. Once they pick, they both decide which item is more powerful than the other and declare who wins. As you see, there are several possibilities here. There is also a possibility of draw, please note. That is when both people choose the same item. Let me give you a few examples. Assume dad chooses rock and I choose scissors. Obviously dad wins because a rock can beat the scissor. In case dad chooses paper and I choose scissor, obviously I win because a scissor cuts the paper. And assume dad and me both ended up choosing rock. We call it a draw. Let me enumerate all the cases. Assume dad chooses rock, son also chooses rock. There's a draw. Dad chooses rock, son chooses paper, son wins. Dad chooses rock, son chooses scissor, dad wins. Paper and rock, dad wins. Paper, paper, obviously a draw. Paper and scissor, son wins. Scissor and rock, son wins. Scissor and scissor, a draw. Scissor and paper, dad wins. These are the only cases, as you can see. This is a great game to play, but with time, you will realize that there is actually room for cheating. How do we patch this up? Is there a way to patch it? The course is about the joy of computing. Is there a solution to this problem through programming? Any ideas? Here is a straightforward solution. This is how the interface will look like after I finish coding. The first player is asked to enter one of the three numbers 0, 1 or 2, where 0 stands for rock, 1 stands for paper, 2 stands for scissors. So firstly, the son comes and enters a number and then goes away from the place. The screen is cleared. And then comes dad and he enters his choice of the number 0, 1, 2 based on what is the item that he has chosen. And then he goes away from the place and both of them come together and they observe who won the game. That way, both of them are committing to their item. Nobody can cheat here. The computer finally declares who is the winner. Well, it's very easy to program this, but don't you think it's cumbersome for dad and son, these two players, to come inside the room, punch in their choice and then go out? They should keep doing this. A game requires both of them to come, punch in, go back, and then both of them to come together and then see the result. Looks like this is not a feasible way of creating a good interface. Is there a better way? Let us see. Here is a very cool way to do this. Dad and son, they both secretly come and choose a placeholder in a 10-digit number. What do I mean by this? Assume these are the 10-digit holders and the son says, I'm going to choose the third digit, which means his item is going to be hidden here. And dad comes separately and then chooses his placeholder. Assume he chooses the 7th digit, which means his item will be stored in the 7th digit. And then now dad and son, both of them sit together. Dad doesn't know son's placeholder. Son doesn't know dad's placeholder. They both sit together and they start typing their 10-digit numbers by hiding their secret item in their secret placeholder. You see, the idea is cool. Can we make it a little cooler? You see, with a lot of intelligence, it looks like one person can guess what the other person is choosing. It looks like it, although I'm not so sure. You should tell me whether with some amount of intelligence, one player can guess what the other player's secret placeholder is. So let us make this game a lot more complicated. I'm going to bring in two new changes to the game. So change 1. You are not going to assign 0, 1, 2 for rock, paper, scissors. Even that's a secret. A 0 for son could be rock, but a 0 for dad could be scissor. So they input this information secretly, just the way they input their placeholder secretly. And the second one would be, why take a 10-digit number with entries being only 0, 1, 2? Let us take an ordinary 10-digit number. Each placeholder can be anything between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What I will do is, I will put my secret 0, 1 or 2 in my secret placeholder, and you see, you can make it further complicated by increasing the number of digits. Why necessarily 10 digits? You can even make it 15 digits or 20 digits. right? It probably will become difficult for people to enter that bigger number, but still you realize that bigger the number of digits, more complicated the game becomes for the other person to guess, that is.